So welcome to Friday's Therapist Network meeting. Lovely to have you join us. I'm Naomi Raven, sound therapist and holistic voice therapist, shamanic practitioner, and for women, shamanic facilitator. And very pleased to have you here, and we're going to have a lovely talk from Hannah about core transformation shortly. So if you'd like to say hello, everyone, and Michelle, would you like to go first?
Hello, I'm Michelle Gilbert, also Grandma Groove, and I've been in the wellness industry, fitness and health for 30 years, teaching everything from, well, starting off in like late 1980s with step aerobics, and then went into sort of circuit training, aqua aerobics, cardio funk, hip hop, that type of stuff. And then I don't know what then I went into personal fitness training and stuff in the gym and working with people holistically with massage. I did a massage course. And then I went abroad and was personal training, and then went to Qatar and did my yoga teacher training. And then I came back to UK and did and taught Clubbercise. And now I teach something called Groove, which is an interactive, connective dance class, but it has a twist to it. It's holistic, it's healing. Everyone connects in unity to a rhythm or a beat. So we are in unity as a community, but you have your own slant on it. So you do it your way, I do it my way. You have your style, I have my style, but we all connect and do it together. So which grows the community. And then we get into a personal song where you can stretch or meditate, and then you go into a stillness for a track. So you absorb everything you've learned, because each track is picked individually to be positive input and have specific vibrations at certain times to help heal the system, and shift the emotions basically. So you're shifting your emotions with the movement and the breath. But these classes can be anything from really sort of yoga, holistic, floaty type vibes to banging house tracks, so you can have a real eclectic feel to the class, or you can have specifically for a certain genre of music, depending on who your audience is. But because you're facilitating, you're not on a stage shouting at people and telling people what to do. You're with, like, I'm facilitating with everybody else on the floor, so we're grooving together and we move in and out of each other, and we interact and we connect, and we just have some fun in our bodies. And it's not about the aesthetics, about what you look like, it's about how you feel. So it's about feeling good in your body.
Right. Thank you, Michelle. Helen, welcome.
Good morning.
Morning.
I recognise a few of you already, but for those who haven't heard me before, I'm Helen Porter. I'm from currently in Herne Bay, but before that Canterbury. I've done many things over the years, holistics for 20 plus years, and recently kind of really got back into it about 3 or 4 years ago. Created my own massage technique, which combines all elements of healing from energetic, physical and subconscious kind of belief patterns. And with that, I also do teach angelic Reiki and women's workshops. And because of all this lately, I'm trying to diversify and think, how do I help people when I can't touch them? So I am just in the process of creating guided meditations and help sheets. So to sit down and they do the work, because meditations are great, but sometimes you don't really realize the subconscious kind of blocks and patterns. So there's like questions that you can ask yourself that kind of trigger deeper understandings of our things. So I always believe that if you have a physical pain, it will translate to an emotional trauma that you've kind of blocked and pushed down somewhere. So really, the more in tune we become, the more we listen to our bodies, we can really make massive kind of transitions. And actually, over the last 2 weeks, I have turned off all social media. I've stopped talking to all my friends, all my clients. I've said, you know what, I'm having some time out. For the first time in the whole of this lockdown, I've actually said, no, this is just me. And although I thought I'd done huge healing and kind of shifting so far in my life, what I've done in the last week is phenomenal. I think the time we're in at the moment is the time for releasing, healing, kind of nurturing, and yeah, just that time with myself has given me more insights and more tools to be able to help others. So it's really exciting times actually, and I just think constantly listening to other people, learning, taking kind of just teaching one another is really powerful. Like we need to be there for one another just to keep on boosting and boosting. So I just love learning from everybody else too. So that's me.
Yay, brilliant. Thank you, Helen. Ros.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Ros, and I'm a birth and postnatal doula. I became a doula just over 10 years ago. I'd supported women during birth actually before that. The first time was about 30 years ago when I was with my niece when she had her baby. And so I'd been at several births, but until 10 years ago, I didn't know there was actually officially a role as a doula. So I trained about 10 years ago. And since then I've been supporting women sort of throughout pregnancy, birth, and postnatally, throughout the first sort of weeks and months with their baby. I mean, obviously this last year has had an impact because most of my work is in person, has always been sort of supporting people, sitting with people, obviously being with women during their labour and birth. And also if I work with them postnatally, it's about physical help, supporting with the baby and doing things with them. So obviously some of that has been limited in the last year, but what I have found is that some of that support I can offer, it does translate to being online. So supporting women during pregnancy and helping them sort of prepare for the birth, talking through their birth plan with them, and support, and about what support they might need and how they can access support postnatally. And also I found that quite a lot of women, although, as I say, it's difficult that I can't actually be with women after they've had their babies, often they're talking through things, just that the fact that we can talk about things, lots of questions usually. Some women, and often women want to talk through their birth, and it's good just to have someone who can listen, sort of thing. So yes, it's basically when I can get back to normal, I will be supporting women giving birth again, but in the meantime I can at least offer support during pregnancy and in the weeks and months after their baby's born. So yeah, so that's me.
Lovely. Thank you, Ros. And then Hannah, I'm going to see if I can put you on full screen so that we can see you properly. Wondering if I might have to pin you to do that though. Oh, I can't hear you, Hannah. Are you talking?
Oh, yeah. Can you not hear me at all? Am I sounding quiet to everyone? Maybe I'll speak louder.
All good.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
I've pinned you now, and then we've got the rest of us in the shot on the edge.
Okay.
Lovely, Hannah.
Cool.
So if you'd
So you
like
can
to
Yeah.
tell us about yourself and what you do.
Okay, so yeah, I'm Hannah, and I live on a farm near Elam, in between Stellingminnis and Elam. Well, firstly, background, I started off as a criminal lawyer, so very different, very different, and then sort of illness pushed me in the direction of looking for healing. And so I first began, I did a brain training kind of technique called the dynamic neural retraining system, which is Annie Hopper's technique. And I went to Switzerland to do that. And then I learned NLP and Psych-K. And I also experienced some hands-on healing because a few years ago, I thought that was, you know, all woo woo and a bit. I wasn't really there, you know, in that space. And my mum was a Reiki healer, and I just didn't get it at all. But one day I had some healing from someone, and it made a dramatic change in me energetically. So then that was it. So I then also learned something called Biora healing therapy as well. And obviously that's sort of being with a client, so I can't do that at the moment. But I did, like I said, in NLP, and I've recently done chakra dance as well a year ago, which is fabulous. But again, I haven't been able to practice that. But from the NLP, finding NLP, then I found the Andreas family. So I don't know if anyone's heard about the Andreas family. No one's heard. Okay. So it's Connie, Ray, Andreas, Tamara, and then Connie's son Mark as well. But they did NLP back in the 70s, and then they created their own sort of modalities or techniques. And one of them is called core transformation. I know Naomi knows about it. So I'm guessing no one else has heard about core transformation before. No, okay. So yeah, so it's created by Connie Ray Andreas, I think back in the 80s actually. There's a book on it that I think that was written in the 80s actually, core transformation, the Reaching the Wellspring Within, it's called. That one. So you can still buy that now. So what it's become for me is like my go-to therapy or tool for change now, because I love it so much. And so in core transformation, we work with an unwanted thought, feeling, or behavior. Okay, so there's just something that we really want to change within. And in core transformation, we talk about parts of ourselves, can also be seen as aspects of ourselves that perhaps we don't like and we want to change. So an example of parts could be something simple like, there's a part of me that really wants that chocolate cake, but there's a part of me that knows I shouldn't have it and I need to go on a diet. Or there's a part of me that gets really annoyed at my husband over something, but obviously on the other side, I really love him. So there's polarities in parts, but there's also just simply a part that gets angry, that we don't like, we want to change. A part that gets sad or depressed with certain situations. And it's just really, it can really be anything really as a starting point. And I love the process because I find it quite a nurturing process. So instead of pushing these parts away that we don't like, we welcome them, we acknowledge them, and then inviting them to be listened to. And through doing that, it's like our limitations become the doorway to transformation. So it's not say I'm feeling angry and I don't want to feel angry. I must feel calm. I must connect to, you know, the inner calm. It's not like that. We go into the anger, and then through that, it steps us down through different outcomes, as we call them. So what the part wants, and then through that, what it wants again. In the end, we go down to a core state. So it's a core state you can describe it like a feeling of sort of a blissful state. It's a feeling of expansiveness. It's like it just is, and it's not dependent on anyone or anything. So this is why it can be referred to as kind of a spiritual NLP as well, because naturally through these limitations, when you're guided through, it will just bring you to that lovely core state. And then it melts away the issue that was there in the first place. Trying to think let's look at where to go next, my notes. So it integrates the spiritual with everyday living really, because you'll get some issue that may come up, and by going through that, it will just take you into this lovely, you know, state of whatever it could be: oneness, wholeness, peace. It could be many different words, and the words, it depends how it comes out for the person who's doing the process really. It works fabulously on any emotional state that you just really want to change. And one situation for me, because I studied this about 5 years ago through a DVD course. They now do it all live online, so they're fabulous trainers actually. And I did the advanced course last year, and then the first core transformation coach certification that they'd ever run before. I did that this last year, and they're great teachers, you know, proper online lessons and stuff. Is really interactive, and they work you really hard actually as well. You have to do a lot of hours to qualify as well. So I really recommend their trainings, because it's not something you just listen to on a Facebook Live or something. It's really, you know, integrated. So I guess probably the easiest way I could describe it or just show you how it goes is just doing a little demo, but I'll do a demo with myself because it might be easier, otherwise doing someone else could take some time. So say I'll just pick a situation. I'd pick a situation, say could be just annoyance with a husband leaving his socks around the house, okay, because that is one. So what I do is with a client, I just ask them just to sort of step into the situation, okay? So this is the NLP part, seeing what you see, hearing what you heard, feeling what you felt at the time, okay? So you step into it and experience the situation like you're there now, okay? And so I then ask, so whereabouts in your body do you feel this annoyance? And say they feel, right, okay, it's in my chest. I feel quite tight, you know, I'm really annoyed. It's just really tight feeling in my chest. And then what we do is we invite the person to thank that part for being there, because this is another part of this nurturing process of core transformation. We acknowledge it for being there because it's going to have a positive intention behind it. So that's one of the other premises of core transformation, is that behind every negative behavior, thought, feeling or behavior, there is a positive intention, and that's what we're going to find out. So we invite them to thank the part for being there, so this feeling of annoyance, and then we just ask that part what it wants, okay? So we'll just go, I'll just naturally try and go with it now. So annoyance, okay, so feeling annoyed. I just want to feel clear, okay, so it could just come out something like that. So then we ask the client to step into what it's like to already have, for it to be clear fully and completely. So they step into what it's like to have it to be clear fully and completely. And then from that, we ask what is it the part would like that's even deeper or more important than that, and then we'll go to the next step. And it may be, I just have to sense in to try and do it myself, otherwise it's completely unnatural if I don't do it myself. So okay, like to feel space, to be in space, okay? So then you invite the part to step into what it's like to already have this space fully and completely. Okay, and then when the person's experienced that state enough, you then ask what the part wants that's even deeper or more important, and then you step to the next bit, the next outcome. To be, and so the next one that naturally came to me is just to be. Okay, so invite that part to step into what it's like to already have to be fully and completely. And to be is quite a nice space to be in for me. And then again, you'd ask, I mean, that could be the core state for some people. I've had to be as the core state where you just feel blissed out in that state of to be. Then to check in, we ask, is there anything deeper or more core that you want through being to having to be? And then I'm getting peace. Okay, so invite this part to step into what it's like to have peace fully and completely. And that's what we describe as a core state. So we've gone through it from a limitation at the beginning, which was the annoyance and that feeling of tension, to going through what we call the outcome chain in core transformation to a core state, which is just it's a natural resource that we have inside of us. So everyone's core state will be different. And when you get to that space, you're just in that lovely blissed out space. And then the other parts of the process which bring you back through the outcome chain. We also grow up the part, because a lot of parts are formed when we're a lot younger. So we integrate it, the core state, through going up the part. And we also have another part of the process called parental timeline re-imprinting, where we bring our core states and give them to our parents and our grandparents. And yeah, so that's really just basically what it is. But I just love it so much, because instead of, like I say, pushing away what we don't want, we just go there, and it's great. So you can use it in any moment, and it's a tool. Once you've learned it, you can just use it anywhere, anytime, to shift your state. So I use it quite a lot, and really it's my go-to therapy, really. I'm trying to think any other way to explain it, because it's sorry when I know what I mean, but just see if there's anything I've missed out here, really. I mean, it's a very small summary of what it is, really, but so really it's a process of allowing. So it's like an unraveling of our sort of coping strategies that haven't been quite so positive for us, but behind them there is obviously a positive intention in the first place, and at an earlier time they were the best choice for our unconscious to create that within us. But yeah, it's just an unraveling and coming to a state of a lovely core state where anything's possible, and then we have our resources, and we gain different insights and different perceptions around the issue. Yeah. So is that clear, Naomi? Because you've experienced it, Naomi.
Yeah, I thought that was a very good description.
I'm not used to talking in groups, so I'm trying to think if I was missing anything out, or because you can write a lot down, can't you? But then you don't even go with what you've written down.
Yeah, that's probably good though, because it's just giving you a reminder. It didn't feel like you were reading it. It felt like you were going, oh yeah, and then you're talking about it. So, no, it's great. So it might be actually that people have got questions that
might be
that might clarify for them a bit more, or just anything. Does anybody have anything you want to ask? I'm going to remove the pin now. Oh no. Oh yes.
Yeah, I've got something to say if I can ask. Okay. Thanks, Hannah, for that. Okay. That was really insightful and interesting, actually. I did something similar not so long ago, which was about asking yourself questions, and then your body either tips forward or it tips back and gives you the answers, kind of thing, which is really interesting. But for me, I actually need someone to ask me the questions so that I'm in myself. Do you know what I mean? Or else it's very difficult doing it for yourself, and you sometimes you just need that extra support. But what I was going to ask you, because when I came onto this call, I sort of went blah 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 all about the stuff that I'm going through. So this might be something that you could work with me to shift. And I was going to ask you, does it actually dissolve the experience or the state? Is
that what you mean, the so-called negative?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you were talking about earlier on the call when you were saying that, I was thinking,
Hannah, I can't hear you very well.
Have I gone quiet again? Do you know, it did happen the other day that is it going in and out of
it's better now.
Okay, now.
Yeah, that happened the other day actually when I was on a call. Okay. Yeah, so the negative state you're talking about, so the feeling of you were talking about panic, weren't you?
Yeah, I know where it stemmed, because I've done a lot of work and still am on myself all the time. I'm kind of knowing where it's stemming from. So that is the issue, not the actual going in the tunnel. It's got nothing to do with it. It's the fear of confronting the real thing that I've been has been churning at me since forever. and it's come to a bit of a pinnacle now. So it's quite well, it's a massive thing in my life that I need to discuss, I suppose, and just need to get out there into consciousness. Sorry, you've gone quiet again.
Oh no.
There you go, you come back, you're back.
Such a pain. It's such a pain. This is not good. My internet speed's all right. I don't quite know what's going on, but yeah. So yeah, with core transformation, we work with what's happening right now. So like you say, you knew where it stemmed from. We don't need to go into that. But it's just really what's happening and the reaction you're having now.
Mm.
And so working with that and really, you know, inviting that and welcoming that part. Have you ever thought of it that way as well? Thank you for being there, or is it more about I want to get away from it?
Oh, run away. Oh,
Yeah.
exactly. It was just literally, I was moving to Mexico yesterday.
Okay,
You know,
yeah.
that was me. I was off, and it's just the fear. I know it's the underlying fear which I don't want to face. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I think it would be a really good thing to work through. But it's just that acceptance that I'm finding so difficult.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's just brilliant. It's brilliant on reactions and stressful, a lot to do with stressy situations and stuff. It can just give you a shift straight away. Just because you're going straight for that limitation and you're there and you're not pushing it away, but you're going through it. And then you're just really finding what it's trying to do, although you feel it's really negative. And that's why I just love it. It's such a nurturing process.
Yeah.
That it gently guides you through into that core state, whatever that core state will be. But
Okay.
yeah, like you're saying, being guided in it's a very internal sort of process. You kind of go into a light trance, I would say. So I like to work with other practitioners as well, for me sometimes as well, because you can really zone into yourself and then you're just led by someone else. So I know exactly what you're saying by that. Yeah.
Thank you. That's great. I'd like to take your details if possible.
Yeah. Oh yeah, should I put them in the chat? Would that work?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'll do
Thank
that.
you.
Okay, that's cool. I'll do that in a minute.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so what you were saying about welcoming the part, and you know, so much of our issues, so much of our issues, we want to avoid them, don't we? We don't want to have them. We got this whatever it is, and we don't want it. But to be able to go, yes, it's got a positive intention, thanking it, welcoming it, and what does it want? What, you know, instead of it's just beautiful.
Yeah, and that's why I found it so different from other NLP techniques, where you're just saying, I don't want this, I want this, and you're kind of ignoring why it's there in the first place. And like, you don't have to have the whole history or whatever, but it's just saying in that moment, what does it want, you know? And I think sometimes you can push, using other NLP techniques, you can kind of just push that to the side. You're not kind of going through the right doorway. Well, that's my experience of NLP as well. I do like other parts of NLP as well, but I would always go for this first. Yeah.
Sorry, can I ask another question? Sorry, it's just something cropped up in my mind. You know, if you're basically, something's happened in your life and you're delving into it and you find it's not that thing, it's that thing, and then you've gone into that thing and actually it's not that thing, it's that thing. And that thing, it's like a lot younger person of you now. But you know, recently I'm learning about ancestry and how things are passed down, which I find incredibly interesting. And I'm wondering, can you still change your perception if it's that ingrained in ancestry that's been passed down?
What if it's come from, what you mean, it's in, do you mean inbuilt in you from
other sources? Yes, from your ancestry passed down through generations, because I believe that some things that we are experiencing in our lives today are have not been dealt with in past. And so I'm wondering if that would still have the effect.
Yeah, because you could change your own experience with that. So it's always, you know, it's all energy, and so if you're going through it and you're dealing with yourself through your own way of perceiving whatever it is, then you can shift it for yourself. I would say yes. Yeah. And then it's
Thank
lovely that as well down the lineage you send your core state down as well, for your parents, your grandparents, and that's lovely. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds really interesting. I'd be very
Yeah.
interested in that. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it is actually another form of ancestral healing as well then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It is really lovely when you can picture that. And sometimes it's just usually you say that the parents and grandparents, but sometimes I just see a whole line, a whole lineage of people going all the way back and just filling them with this core state. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, because I think a lot of people, you know, like you were saying, Helen, about the work that you've been doing on yourself recently, and I've been doing a lot of healing work on myself, and it seems that a lot of us healing professionals have been utilising this time to go deeper into our own healing journey in order to then be able to support others better. And there seems to be there's a theme of ancestral healing as well, which, you know, it's not surprising, is it, really? But it's lovely to hear that this is another tool for that. Yeah, brilliant. Any more questions?
No,
not at the moment.
No, that's cool.
Well,
Okay.
lovely. Thank you so much, Hannah. That was, you know, from obviously because I have been blessed to experience it.
Yeah.
To hear it talked about like that made, you know, it made total sense from my experience. Yeah, and it is absolutely lovely being taken into the process, because they're all lovely states on the way to the core state, aren't they?
Yeah.
Quite quickly from the issue state. So I
Mhm.
can see how you would just use it day to day, just to shift your state, and not just to work on specific things where it might be useful to have someone guide you, but just be able to, you know, like I do with my sound work, just be able to shift state. So that's
so I think usually after a few sessions you can kind of, then you will be able to guide yourself just perhaps in the first steps, you know, so it becomes quite a useful tool that the clients can take away with them, really.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so perhaps we could all put our details in the chat then. So if you'd like to pop, well, whatever, you know, Facebook page or other social pages and websites, contact phone number, whatever you'd like to put. And I'll do mine as well. And then what I normally do is I email the chat to the email that you signed up with. If you're happy to, I can send that.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Lovely. Okay, so our next part of the session is, sorry if you haven't finished doing that. Looks like we're all on there. I can't see Helen, but I thought you did yours at the beginning.
Up the top, isn't it? I can see Helen.
Okay, I'm on a new computer and it's great, but I still can't work everything about it yet. It is actually my computer this time. I was borrowing one a couple of times for group sessions. Great, lovely. Okay. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to stop the recording because there's no need for us to record our breakouts. So thank you everybody watching, and see you another time.